pop up on your feed and turn on notifications as well. And this first is actually I'm seeing it. And it's Phillips and Scott Jennings going back and forth. This one in particular is about the. Hello, welcome to your weekly charge up with me, the Loon. I'd like to welcome you. Today's date is April 6th, 2025. We are close to gardening season starting. Here in the Northeast, it's a little chilly, so it's too early to start planting those seeds. But in a week or two, it'll be that time. Today, we're going to be talking about happiness, hence me bringing up the gardening thing because it is one of my keys to happiness. But before that, let's talk about last week's episode, which was Life Happens. I like to take the time to always learn, to always share what I've learned since I take this journey with you of what I've learned in that. And I discovered personally that it's easier and less stressful when you accept the fact that things don't always go the way you want. Even if you are a control freak or if you feel that you must be in control, once you realize that life will happen and it happens for a purpose, everything has its purpose, um, you'll be much happier. You realize that, you know what, yeah, sometimes it brings stress to you, but don't let it. Some control of everything is helpful. Nothing goes as plans. And we know that if we've lived any amount of time on earth. So that's the lesson I've learned. Now, I actually want to share, and I apologize for not actually having this ready because I want to get on the topic of happiness, but I try to have like inspirational motivation. So I always, how can I say? I basically follow certain inspirational speakers. So there is this gentleman. Oh, wrong. There is this gentleman named Corey, I think Mercer is how it's pronounced. I may be pronouncing incorrectly. So I'm just taking a screenshot of this one quote I received Friday. And it was weird because it came, you know how life works. It came up when I was planning this and it came on Friday. And I want to bring it up so I could share with you. Give me a moment. I'm sorry about that. I meant to have it ready for you. There we go. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me see. I just want to get it to the point where, there we go. That is what you saw. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is this quote, and it's a beautiful quote. All right, so it says here, instead of what is happiness and how can I have more of it, try what is this chapter of my life inviting me to see, feel, experience more deeply. That is profound. That is an excellent view on happiness in general. Okay. Most people think happiness is what money could buy. Most people think happiness is their achievement in life. And actually, if you look at the definition to try, um, Some people, happiness is a new experience that they may experience, or a lesson learned, or an experience, or a feeling. Happiness first differs per each person. So I can't sit here and tell you this is your key to happiness, because that would be very narcissistic of me and presumptuous, because then I am presuming what makes you happy. Happiness is a personal journey, just like your spiritual journey is your personal journey. So let's look on where we have been looking in our lives that there is happiness, but we've been overlooking it. How are the people you meet, whether in a positive or negative, help feed your happiness? And I know most people might think negative. What do you mean negatively? They might feed your happiness. Lessons learned. Everybody who comes into your life always brings some type of lesson into your life. Now, the lesson could be positive or negative, but the lesson is the lesson. And due to this lesson, you tend to shift, you adapt, you change your viewpoint, you change your perspective, you change your actions for next time if you are faced with that same situation, or even better, you shift yourself where you are not faced with that negative outcome, which makes you happier. You've learned your lesson, and now you can move on to your next lesson, your next life experience. It's beautiful the way happiness works. Trust me, I am a older woman going through pains on a daily basis. If you can tell, I am going through my hot flashes right now. Um, just took a painful walk, but guess what? I got the body moving. I got to ask people, hey, what do you do to resolve this? I got to see people, something as simple as walking down the street on a Sunday morning walk and seeing your neighbors going for that walk, going shopping, on their way to church, playing with their grandchildren, um, and a simple smile or the look of, how can I say, curiosity in that child's eye. It brings happiness. Your interaction, even though it may not be a verbal, physical, any type, any type of interactions with human beings brings happiness. Now, this is my personal happiness, but this is the time for you to ask yourself, where do you find your happiness? How do you find your happiness? What does the word happiness means to you? Um, Most of us spend our time at work. So if you're at work, I mean, for me, you don't understand. Okay, I'm a closeted geek. Um, I think this is the first time I've given that testimony. So the minute I learned something, especially something I thought was beyond my capability of understanding and learning, if I grasp just a fourth, an eighth of the concept, whatever it is, I am happier than a pig. That's me. I tend to be happy if I learn something new, or if I'm learning something new and I'm able to apply it successfully, and I learn from it. And that makes happy. Some people, happiness is having thousands of dollars, being able to sit in the house and watch TV all day. Okay, to each their own. Um, but whatever floats your boat. Some people find happiness, and this is if they're on their spiritual journey, just staying still and being in the moment and being spiritual. Some people find happiness in reading their scriptures, whichever scripture it is, um, and finding peace in that. Now, just to be clear, some people find happiness in the wrong ways. And those are behaviors that you have to adapt to. Your happiness should not cause harm to others. It should not show dominance over others. Um, Again, this is my personal experience. I'm not a certified licensed spiritualist. I am not a therapist. But in this journey of life, the one thing every single one of us have is experience in life. And the one thing that have eluded so many people, or people believe has eluded them, is true happiness. Now, I'm not talking about a fly by night, let's go out drinking and celebrate type of happiness. That's like occasional fun. And I don't think that falls into happiness, because happiness is everlasting. Happiness is something you take with you. Happiness is not a memory, it's a part of you. It's an experience you experience every day if you are mindful enough to remember what makes you happy. I find happiness when I wake up and I open my eyes and I take a breath every morning. That's gratitude. So I guess one could say happiness leads to gratitude. So happiness is a journey. It's life's journey. I mean, there's a reason why, and this is something it's been shown through time, through the ages, through the centuries. The happiest people are not the wealthiest sometimes. I'm not going speaking against wealth or having monetary gain, because trust me, it would alleviate a lot of mishaps or aches or pains or headaches I have. But happiness is what gives you the inspiration to wake up in the morning. Happiness is what gives you the inspiration to work through whatever body aches you have, whatever ailments you have. It's a purpose. Your purpose gives you happiness. Now, I find it hard in this day and age for anyone to say that they're not happy in this country. I have to say, because there are other conditions that I have not lived through that I cannot speak of. So I can only speak of me living here in the United States, me growing up in the household I grew up with, and learning what I've learned and experienced what I've experienced. And not every experience has been the greatest, but the happiness comes that one, I overcame them. I overcame whatever difficulties, challenges. I learned from them, and it's given me a perspective of putting myself in other people's shoes. Even when you find yourself being misunderstood, the happiness is helping someone understand. You just enlighten somebody. That's another aspect. I'm all about teaching, but not everybody's all about that. So this week, as you get ready, tomorrow's Monday, as you're getting ready to start your work week, as you're getting ready to even go to if most people still do that, go to your Sunday night family dinners with your extended family. I think we should bring that back, by the way. Um, and whatever challenges that may hold, think about how you could find happiness in the moment, no matter how difficult the moment is. Think about how you could find happiness in a difficult situation that may pop up. Life happens. And like I said in the quote, What is this chapter of my life inviting me to see? What am I supposed to see in this situation? What feelings am I supposed to acknowledge in this moment? And what am I supposed to experience? I got humbled. I got my how can I say, controlling self got humbled last week with Life Happens and realized that I can't control everything. And it's less stressful when I let go of the situation and see either how I handle the situation, how I could avoid the situation, or how someone handles the situation and how I should try to adapt to handling that situation. Needless to say, last week was a holy crap, life happens situation. That's all I have to say. It was a learning experience. Um, and what was it? I forgot. It was an Eddie Murphy movie. Was it an Eddie Murphy movie? Or Bill Bellamy movie in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, where he was a player. I can't remember the name of the movie. He was a player and he thought he could play any woman. And he was happy with this title, and no people were the wiser. Feelings got hurt, but that was his own sadistic way of uh, being himself. But his theory was be able to adapt to any situation. When you have internal happiness that cannot be defined by material possessions, um, external praise, um, monetary, houses, cars, whatever. When you have happiness that just you generate within yourself, any situation that comes your way is doable. They're manageable. And if you have that internal happiness, some people say it's looking through rose-colored glasses, which I've been accused of many times of being. And that's actually a wrong analogy. And that's a wrong way of that's actually pretty cruel to accuse someone of, because you put it in their head that they're not seeing life as it is. And that's not true. They're seeing life as their internal happiness gauges it to be seen. Just because you think they're looking through rose colored glasses and they're quote unquote too happy in different situations, don't mean they're not set in reality. Their internal happiness has told them, and your internal happiness should tell you too, that this is a difficult situation. Okay, I need to see a way through this. I need to see what lessons need to be seen, need to be learned, need to be felt. Happiness is on a person gauge. I cannot gauge your happiness and you cannot gauge my happiness. Some of the most happiest people, joyful people I've ever met don't work glorious jobs, don't have a list of long degrees, but they have life experience, they have an understanding of themselves, and they have an understanding that life happens and we can adapt. And on that note, wow, my things tends to be shorter and shorter. It's kind of hard when I don't have live people with conversations. But in the next week or so, I'm gonna go back on my recordings, and I'm gonna look at the comments that I have. Um, I do have to say the most happiest people that I've ever met. And I mean happy. I mean, like, so happy that it glows off of them. You know those people. You sit there and be like, how can I be like them? Which is the wrong question to ask, actually. You should ask, how can I find my internal happiness to emulate that same joy and happiness and lovingness that they have? And everyone who I've ever met in my entire life, family, friends, um, people, people who just passed through my life, is if they follow religion, if they're spiritual, they have spiritual happiness, spiritual enlightenment, and you could just tell. They're few and in between, but they're there. Even if they're not smiling, you know that they've found that internal happiness. So this week, what we're going to do is try to find our internal happiness. If you have to journal about it, if you want to write about it, go ahead. We're going to go on this journey of finding the happiness within ourselves. Not the happiness that we get when we eat our favorite food, when we make our favorite food, when we go out clubbing. No, we're going to find the happiness within ourselves. And most people at this point would say share it. But if you really find that internal happiness, you don't have to share it because it's going to happen automatically. Even if it's with a simple smile, a simple look while you're walking around with resting bee face, which I tend to do a lot. Something simple as when you go for a walk, or even sitting down watching your favorite show or catching up on a show. So this week, our assignment is to find happiness, our internal happiness, not external happiness, internal happiness. Take a note when you get those little butterflies or your heart skip a beat because of one little thing that you just realized or you felt or you just had that aha moment of something that's been plaguing your mind for days, weeks, decades. So, on this note, your girl, the loon, is going to say, see you later. Tune in next week. I don't know what the topic is going to be because, it depends on how the week goes. I do have Buddy Check coming up on the 22nd. This month, we also have Earth Day. So if you want, plant a tree. If you want, go check out some festivals. I know in New York and I know in DC, I'm not sure of any other states, they will have the cherry blossoms starting to come up. If you've never experienced the cherry blossoms, I suggest, especially if you like plant life and you like gardening, to go out there. If you are in Europe, there is the tulip festivals coming up. Unfortunately, this year I was not on point on my gardening, so I didn't get to plant my tulips. But there are plenty of botanical gardens everywhere, no matter where you are, that will have them on display. And if best yet, you could go to I forgot what they call them, the places where sell plants that will have them in enormous numbers. So the weather's starting to get nice. Go out, enjoy a walk, enjoy nature, and think about what makes you happy. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button for me. If you think someone will like this video, please feel free to share this video with them. And if you want to see anything I have coming up, please hit subscribe. I have different sections on the website on this channel. Luke and I, we're going to hit a heavy topic. That's why we didn't have anything last month, because we're still doing our due diligence to get that episode together for St. Peter. Also, I have this weekly charge up. I have my buddy check. So if you have any veterans that may need the encouragement or want to vent out, I simulcast that one on X and here. So you'll be able to see that one. And I am going to be doing gardening videos, cooking videos. I'm going to start, oh, the book is not near me. I'm going to start with culinaries by my cookbooks. We're going to go through every recipe in my cookbook collection so far. And the first one we're going to start with, and it's going to be a hat tip to my grandfather, my parents, will be Haiti. So stay tuned for that. And since I'm going through perimenopause, ladies, we're going to have talks. Till then, thank you for coming. I hope you have a beautiful week. No matter what the weather or no matter what life throws at you, this week we are going to find our inner happiness and we are going to live with joy from here on out. Bye.